Hi everyone, this is Tanya from Flying Dog Studio. Thank you so much for joining me for part 3 of the Cicely Mary Barker study. And we are using the Winsor & Newton watercolor pencils. This is their studio set. As you can see, studio set, Winsor & Newton, each little curated set. There are 5 in this and each one has 10 pencils. We are using the floral tones and the skin tones right now. I have my size 3 round and size 6 round from Winsor & Newton. We're going to make it an entirely Winsor & Newton type of project. I will slow this down when I hold my pencils up so you can see what I'm using. I'm starting with burnt carmine. Now, in this video, we are going to be doing some details, but these are not the final details. If you've watched my videos before, and if you haven't caught the previous ones for this, I'm going to link those down below. YouTube has a new thing called courses. So if you go to my channel and you scroll over to the right, you are going to see a courses tab. You can click on that and you can find all of these courses there, but I will link the ones we're working on right now down below for you. So I'm doing the details, but these are not the final details. And like I said, if you've watched my stuff, you know I like to build it up. I don't like to just start really dark straight off, because if you make a mistake, it's kind of hard to fix. So if you add it slowly, then you can get it just right. That's my theory anyway, and that's always worked for me. So that's what we're doing here. So while you watch me add some more details in and use some colors I haven't used yet, I want to talk about something that one of you asked in one of the previous videos on here in the comments. And put some comments down there. If you have some questions, if you wonder about why I'm doing things a certain way, or if you have a suggestion, or you have an experience with the medium I'm using, whatever it is, please put those down below. I love to hear from you guys. But Mary asked me, when would you find it beneficial to choose the watercolor pencils over just traditional watercolors? Because as she said, it seems as if it adds an extra step in there. And yes, it seems to. However, for me, because I have some physical limitations in doing my art, I have arthritis and I have fibromyalgia, so I can only set for about 30 minutes a day and work on a piece. And then my body tells me it's time to stop. So I can't sit back down the rest of the day and work on it. So for me, anything that allows me to work quickly is a great thing. And yes, it seems as if it would add extra steps. However, I'm not having to mix the colors up ahead of time. I know what they're going to do when I put them down on paper, so I can layer them like traditional watercolors. I can mix them right on the paper, and I could, if I wanted to take a palette and like something with a texture and color on it and paint straight from the palette and mix the colors up there, I could. But for me, because I'm not having to mix on a palette, I can just color straight on here, and I don't have to color too hard. With traditional colored pencils, you have to bear down and you have to put a lot of pressure on, and there are so many layers, and it will take hours to do a colored pencil piece. I used to do colored pencil. I can't anymore. However, with these, it's different. I don't have to bear down hard. I can put colors on top of each other and layer them, or I can put them all down at once and let them mix right on the paper, and that saves me time. So this piece would have taken me twice as long had I used traditional watercolor. And that's hard to believe because I know this is in 3 videos. But again, remember, I can only work for 30 minutes at a time. So in about 20 minutes, I was able to color the entire piece and get my first base layer down and then just walk away. And it would have taken me longer because if I use traditional watercolors, because if I mix up a color and I run out, I've got to try to match that again. I've got to mix more color up. Here, I just pick up the pencil and put some more color down. It's not a problem. So for me, they don't take quite as long. Now, I think Mary's going to purchase a few pencils and just kind of try them out. I think that's an excellent thing to do if you're uncertain and you don't want to sink the money into it. yeah, that's what I would do. I would just try them out first. But this is my process for here. I'm just putting down some extra colors. And again, I'm not bearing down hard. It might look like it, but it's only because the video has been sped up. And I'm going into more of the colors that I see in my reference photo. And if you want that reference photo, it's going to be down in the description. I'm going to put all my links down there. My paper, the pencils I'm using, videos that might help you out. Everything's going to be down below. But I'm taking a look at the reference, and when I'm putting the initial layer down, I am looking at the colors underneath. So do I see a yellow base on things? Do I see a pink base? What is the base color underneath? And that's what I put down first. And then I come back and put down the next layer of colors. And when I start in with the details, I'm trying to refine those just a bit, and I'm looking at what colors might be mixed in there with them. Now, his little jacket had more of some purple tones in it. Once you got to the body, around the chest, around the waist, there were some darker colors in there, some purples, and it wasn't the same pinks that you're seeing up in the flowers. So I have to take a look at that and think about what I want to add on top. And that's where these mixing charts come in handy. That's why I always try to take my colors, and these little sets have 10 colors a piece, so I can do a chart of those and know how they're going to work together. Now, unfortunately for this piece, I had to bring in not just the floral, but you're going to see me pick up another set of pencils in a few minutes and come back to this piece to try to get the right shade of green that I need, because it just wasn't in the florals. And I knew from my previous color chart that I wasn't going to be able to make it. So you're going to see that coming up. So I'm going to be quiet for just a few minutes and let you watch me work and let you enjoy a little music. And I'm going to hop back on in a few minutes and we'll talk some more. It's a little more activation of the color here, and then I'm going to work on the wings. And something I didn't mention in this video, but when you see me go from the pencils to the water and back to the pencils again, there has been some time that has lapsed, or I have picked up my hair dryer and I've dried on this till it's completely dry, because you don't want to color on wet paper. So just keep that in mind. It looks like I'm just going, I just keep flowing with it, but there's actually some drying time in there. Whether it dries by itself or I make it dry, that paper is dry before I color on it again. So working on the wings, and I mentioned in one of the previous videos that when you're working with Cicely Mary Barker, she did not put very many lines in her wings. Most of the lines are going to be in everything else, and the wings you're going to basically have to just freehand paint. You don't want to put a lot of pencil lines in there. I do have the main lines. She did have some main contour lines within the wings on the outside of the wings that she lined in, but they are thin lines. Very few thick lines will you find in her wings, and everything else you're just going to be coloring in just free-handed, or painting in free-handed, I should say. I'm coloring it in here, but that's what you're going to see with the wings. So if you see me hesitating and looking back and forth, that is me trying to make certain that I am keeping up with the little pattern on the wings. So I wanted to bring that up before I moved on to anything else. Okay, we're almost finished coloring in the wings with the pencils, and now we're going to activate it with the water. And the trick to this, because I don't want it to bleed out everywhere, I'm not wanting it to spread. I have water on my brush, but you can see I hit that rag several times. I'll get the water, then I'll tap the rags, sometimes 2 or 3 times to make sure it's damp, but not super wet. Just enough to activate the color. Some of it I do want to spread around, and you'll see I'm spreading it around a little bit. But if I'm wanting to put spots on there, I'm going to have to use very little water, because what I have found out with these pencils and using the watercolor pencils is that you can lift too much of it up if you have too much water on your brush, and it can move out beyond where you'll want it. If you put water down on the paper and it spreads out, it's going to take the color with it. So when I was doing these, I had to make certain that I didn't have a lot of water on my brush. Okay, here we go with these leaves. I've been putting these off because I have that green that you see there, and then I have one more green in the set that is a darker green, but it gives more of a yellow vibe to it. It's given yellow, and that's not really what I need. I need more of a blue-green. I only have really one blue there, so we're bringing in the landscape because it has wood green. Look at all the colors it has. It also has lipstick red right there, and his little belt is lipstick red. It was red, and I was using the colors I had in my floral set. I was trying to be consistent, but I needed the red, and I had forgotten that there was a red in these sets. So you see me coloring it in here, and I want you to watch me through the rest of the video. Keep an eye on that belt when I put the water on, because I actually forget to activate the color on that, and I'll just have to look in the other videos to see if I activated. I don't know. I haven't even gone back and looked at my piece yet to see if I activated. I noticed it when I was putting this together. But that being said, the wood green was the perfect shade that I needed for this. It had enough blue in it. It was perfect. It matched her color. And so I was able to put that on and activate it. But again, I'm using just a little bit because I don't want to go too dark too quickly, just in case. Because remember, I've never mixed these two sets together. I've only done color charts with the 10 pencils in each set, just those 10. This also had the raw sienna, which allowed me to get a little bit darker yellow on there. Now, We haven't made it to the last video yet. Yeah, there's one more. Sorry about that, but I'm not going to make it to the face in this video. We're not doing the skin. I wanted to go ahead and build up all of the flowers so that I would know how much color to put on the face. Wanted to make certain that I didn't get too much or not enough because I wanted to get it right. I had one shot on the face, so I'm doing all the background first. Now I'm coming back to that set, that's the floral set, and I'm coming back with that green that I told you that's given just a little bit more. It's that olive green. It has more of a yellow green to it. I wanted to put that in there because there is some of that in there on the leaves as well. Wanted to kind of add just a little bit more. But again, something we're going to talk about in the 4th video is all of this layering I'm doing on top. I talked about in the last video, you can get too many colors on there and you can just kind of muddy up your colors. That's not going to be my problem. My problem is because I'm using some of the same colors in these areas, I'm just putting additional on. So it's not getting muddy, but it's building up just like it would in colored pencil. So that means in video number 4, when I add the final detail, all of the refining detail on, and I do his face and his hands and his little ear there, I'm going to have to change my technique and the amount of water that I use. And we'll talk about that in video number 4. And hopefully that will be out soon. I apologize. These have had some spaces between them. I didn't mean for that to happen, but I did get ill in the middle of all this, and we had some appointments that came up, and you know, life happens. But I will have video number 4 out pretty soon. The video is already done. I just need to edit it, put all of it together, and then voice over. But that hopefully will be up sometime this weekend or early next week if you're watching this as it's coming out. That being said, we are finished with part 3. I do hope you'll join me for part 4 and for some other things that I have coming up. I believe I'm going to do some carandache painting on canvas. I'm really wanting to do that. But until then, my friends, I will see you in the next one.